Space, the infinitely expanding, ever-growing void, and we as humans keep trying to use it to find the meaning of life, when little did we know, it's been right in front of our eyes the whole time. This is a fact known by most to everyone by now, but Super Mario Galaxy is one of the best games of all time. The huge variety of stages, the amazing soundtrack, environments, level designs, mechanics, and more, this game is wonderful! But being set in space made it perfectly clear to the development team that we weren't quite done with Mario's space adventures. Those possibilities are endless, so more of Mario Galaxy was warranted. So immediately after the release of the first one in 2007, the team started work on a brand new Mario Galaxy game. The original plan for the sequel was just to expand on the galaxies shown in the first one. Add more stars, challenges, stuff like that. The project was titled Super Mario Galaxy More, or at one point Super Mario Galaxy 1.5. But I think they quickly realized that those are stupid names. And they had more ideas than just stage variants, so then Super Mario Galaxy 2 was born. With an original release date of 2009, the game was pushed to a year later to not take over New Super Mario Bros. Wii's spotlight. And in 2010, the game was released. Right around the time this came out, I was just getting into video games, so unfortunately at the time I hadn't played Mario Galaxy 1. But sure as heck, little me made sure that I got a copy of Mario Galaxy 2. Thankfully, it's a Mario game, so even though it was a sequel, I really didn't need to play the first one to know what was happening. Also, thanks to the developers requesting to put as little story as possible, making it kind of feel like a polar opposite to the first one, it made it a lot easier to jump right in. Mario Galaxy 1 is a very dramatic opening, while 2 wastes no time and throws you directly into the game. And while I adore the first game, I didn't really have any problems with this change because I have... As I said before, Mario Galaxy 2 wastes absolutely no time and throws Mario directly into a brand new galaxy with an absolutely booming soundtrack. It's an incredible start to the game. I love the way this opens. It gives you no time to think and the adrenaline boost as you're about to play one of the best gaming experiences of your life. As expected, the game plays almost identical to the first one. Mario has a spin jump that can be used to break things and gain extra height. To go with that, you have the classic 3D Mario moveset, the triple jump, long jump, etc. The pointer returns, letting Mario grab and shoot star bits at enemies. If you played the first one, you know it all and you're ready to go. But if you're like me and was experiencing it all for the first time, you'll have no trouble picking it up. As Nintendo always does well, the start is an excellent way to show off the game's mechanics. As you run through the first galaxy, you'll realize pretty quickly, while yes, the mechanics are all the same, this is going to be a different experience from the first one. In Mario Galaxy 2, the levels are less atmospheric and more platforming based, which is not to say the atmosphere is bad, because it's still great. It's just this game is going in a different direction, a more linear direction, which I feel like is the best possible option because it helps this game not only stand out, but gives you a varied experience from the first one. And yes, while Super Mario Galaxy More is an awful title for a video game, that's kind of really what this is. And again, that's not a bad thing because you can never have too much of a good thing. Like for example, Powerups. Super Mario Galaxy 2 introduces a whole group of new power-ups. The Cloud Flower, an item that lets you create platforms wherever you are and gives Mario an extra floaty jump. The Rock Mushroom, that lets Mario turn into an indestructible ball as he demolishes anything in his path. And the Drill, that lets you dig through the planet's core to solve certain puzzles. While 2 of these 3 power-ups are extremely situational, like the Rock Mushroom, which is still fun, but it only works in certain areas, and the Drill, which is kinda boring, and I can take it or leave it, but you have to be in a certain spot to use it. Excluding that, you have the Cloud Flower though, now that is a quality power-up. But the biggest addition to Super Mario Galaxy 2 was Yoshi. While originally planned for Super Mario Galaxy 1 but initially cut, Yoshi takes off in Galaxy 2, jumping right out with its classic tongue abilities and the flutter jump. But that's not all, he also comes with 3 brand new power-ups that you can only access while riding Yoshi. Dash Pepper, the Blimp Fruit, and the Bulb Fruit. The dash pepper lets Yoshi run at incredible speeds, even up walls, creating some really fun platforming segments. Definitely the highlight of the Yoshi moveset. Then the blimp fruit, which lets Yoshi blow up like a balloon. That makes me uncomfortable. But it lets him float through obstacles, so that's cool, I guess. And finally, the bulb fruit, which gives Yoshi the ability to see invisible platforms. But be careful, the second you get hit, those platforms disappear. Honestly, while these are all extremely situational, all three of these are really fun. They're only here to enhance the level design, which on that note, get comfortable because it's time to talk about the level design. So as I said before, Mario Galaxy 2's main goal is to keep you moving, and that's made clear by your ship. In the first game, you had Rosalina's Observatory, a grand, huge hub world that lets you access levels through domes, while in Galaxy 2, you have Starship Mario, a planet shaped like Mario's head that puts you on a linear world map to move quickly from galaxy to galaxy. I want a planet shaped like my head. I guess the only problem with that is my head is so large it would probably create too big of a gravitational pull and devour a couple galaxies. A lot of people prefer the Observatory, and honestly, I can't blame them. While I like Starship Mario because it's funny, there definitely isn't as much mystery to it like the Observatory had, if that makes sense. But this is still a really fun area. As you progress through the game, some NPCs and power-ups jump aboard the ship. Holy crap, there's a bomb on the ship. But with the linear world map, it makes it really easy to jump into these levels, and trust me, that's what you're gonna want, because you're not gonna want to put this game down. A linear 3D Mario is my favorite Mario, and that's because when Nintendo makes a linear 3D Mario adventure, they go nuts with the level design. How they approach making new levels follows these simple steps. Introduce an idea, expand on that idea, and perfect that idea. That, combined with the gravity-defying mechanics of Mario Galaxy, makes for honestly some of the best platforming levels of all time. But with that extra tool, the gravity mechanic, Nintendo managed to put out some of the most complex, intriguing levels of all time. Not to mention they already made a full game of these previously, so now they just had to perfect it, and perfect it they did. Each level is so meticulously put together, you can tell everything is in its place and there was no room for error. And using the gravity mechanics to their advantage is insane. For example, in one level, you platform through a 2D segment, then the wall falls out and the gravity swaps and the whole thing switches to a 3D platforming area. It's insane how well thought out these are. Take levels like Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet, for example. Not only is the song an orchestral restructure of the Road to Bowser from Mario 64, but this stage has Mario running, jumping, and swapping from 2D to 3D segments. These levels, to put it simply, are just fun. But nothing holds a candle to one of the, if not the best level of all time, Bowser's Galaxy Generator. This level packs in almost every idea from previous levels, and while it's not as challenging as the 100% level in this game, it still poses as quite the challenge. And when you finish this one, it truly feels like you put your skills to the test. It's insane. Aside from that, the game introduces a brand new collectible, the Comet Coin. These are typically hidden in harder to reach areas as optional collectibles for those looking to finish the game, but a necessary one for those looking to 100% it. I think they're a solid addition, and making only one per level makes them seem pretty fair. But that brings me to my biggest issue with the game. When trying to 100% it, you have to collect 120 stars. Sure, that sounds normal, but once you do that, the game then floods the levels with hidden green stars, doubling the amount of stars in the game. My only problem with this is now the game becomes a scavenger hunt. You'll have to return to previous levels and listen for a little shine sound to find said green stars. Once you've collected all of them, only then you can access the final level in the game. Sure, more content is more content, but I don't like this, man. It just seems like filler at this point. Sure, it gives you some reason to revisit the levels as Luigi, as some of them were clearly designed around his moveset. Oh, I almost forgot. You can play as Luigi multiple times through the main story, then once you beat Bowser, you get him indefinitely. But in the end, I don't know, that's just too much filler content for me. Luigi's great. The green stars aren't. But you know what else is really fun? Mario Galaxy 2 is packed with awesome boss battles, each one utilizing the environments around you, leading to some really fun challenges. Some of which get you so far on the edge of your seat, it almost feels like you've jumped right in and are fighting alongside Mario. Now, as for the game's difficulty, it's not the easiest Mario game, but it's definitely not Lost Levels type hard. It's difficult, but it's a fair difficult, and I think it works really well. It helps differentiate itself from the original game, which wasn't really hard and more focused on the journey, while Mario Galaxy 2, on the other hand, throws some interesting challenges to make the game feel feel more linear. But with such linear levels so focused on the platforming alone, I will say some of the magic is lost. Mario Galaxy 1 is such a quiet game. The environments are nothing like what you're used to with Mario, and Galaxy 2 is a lot of blue sky athletic type levels and less space themed levels. And for that reason alone, I think Mario Galaxy 1 is a little more special. Not to say anything less about Mario Galaxy 2, because genuinely it has some of the best platforming levels of all time. But when it comes down to which game do you prefer, it's honestly up to the player. What exactly are you looking for? A quicker, more linear experience? Or a slower, more quiet experience? Neither of which are bad options, but when I look at these two games, I don't like to pick between the two of them because they coexist very well together. Mario Galaxy 1, in my opinion, is the best game of all time, and who wouldn't want more of that? And that's exactly what Mario Galaxy 2 is. More of Mario Galaxy 1, and it does an amazing job at that. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is an amazing game, and it always will be. The level design is on point, and the music is just as good as the first one. And for those reasons and more, this will always be one of my favorite games of all time. Now, if only they can make a 3D Mario game with amazing level design and 4 players.